make a dice is first by creating a variable called dice roll. This is just going to house the random number that we get. So I'm going to just do random.randint and then 1, 6, because that's the range of a dice. It starts at 1 and goes up until 6. You can do 1 through 12 or 1 through 20 or even 1 through 3, because I know there are dices like that, but 1 through 6 is just kind of the range we're going to do now. Okay. So next up, we're going to make if statements. Now, we'll just start off by doing if dice roll is equal to 1. We can print 1. Now, we're going to have to do that for each of the cases, but instead of doing an if statement for the next statement, what we're going to do is actually an elif statement. Now, an elif statement is basically a statement combining if and else. It's not your final statement like the else statement is, but what it does is after the starting if statement, it'll kind of form more of a link between this if statement right here and the else statement that we're going to have. And this is important because if we just have 5 if statements and 1 else statement, that's going to cause problems because the else statement is not going to know which if statement to look at as like its else, as its base case. So what it's going to do is it's going to look at the one closest to it. So let's say if dice, let's just try it up here. So else print 3. Let's do another if statement down here. So if dice roll 2, print 2. Alright. So now, even when, let's try setting dice roll to 1. You're going to see that the first condition prints out in addition to the else statement. So both of these are going to run. And that is because since there is a new if statement, a fresh if statement down here, Python identifies this if statement and this if else statement as 2 separate statements. But that's not what we want to do. So now we're going to have an awkward message displayed on the console. But the way to fix that is with Elif. Elif sticks the if and the else statements together. So now if we run it, even if it's just 1, you're going to see that the 3 does not print out anymore because the elif statement can only exist with an if statement above it and an else statement below it. Therefore, it connects all 3 of these statements and makes our program run as expected. Alright, so now we're just going to create more elif statements for the rest of the dice. So 3, 4, and 5. Alright, and then finally, our else condition is going to be print 6. Alright. So now, you're going to see that those are our dice rolls. But really, none of these statements are necessary if we're just printing out the same thing. So I'm just going to add a little exclamation point. You guys could also just print dice roll instead of doing all these else statements. But yeah. So all those statements were kind of unnecessary, but I just wanted to use them to show you guys how Elif statements work. And that is how you random roll a dice in Python.